part of your standard maintenance on these cars is replacing fuel filters. You get that one, and then you've got the little screen one right there, which you can just clean if it's the filter itself is still in good shape. You can just clean that one out. It's just a mesh, like a screen that you can clean out. Anyway, but before you do that, you want to check your fuel primer pump, which is that white thing right in the center of your screen. Now, well, it could be the white thing, could be black, but I always check that before I replace the filters, because if it doesn't work, you know, you're going to have trouble priming your system and getting fuel, you know, getting the air out of the system basically. So my normal procedure is, you know, I'll check the priming pump. Priming pump is good. Replace the filters, and then you can prime it, and you'll see it go back through the return, and you know you've got all the air out of the system. So I checked that, and the priming pump didn't work. Now these white pumps are known for going bad, and they have a redesigned pump, this black one, to replace it with. And so I don't know if that thing was leaking beforehand, but since I've messed with it and tried to use it and realized it would not pump, it's now leaking when the engine's running, and it leaks diesel all over the engine mounts. It's just not a good thing. So we need to get that pump off and get our new one on, and then I'm going to go through and just replace the filters. They look in good shape, but no telling when they were last done, so we're going to do them. Plus, it's leaking up here, so the O-ring, you know, needs to be replaced on there. That O-ring's leaking. Earlier models had, I think, an O-ring and a sealing washer, and then later models had, I think, 2 O-rings is how that goes. So this one should have 2 O-rings, I think, and not a sealing washer. But once I get that bolt out, I'll be able to tell. But I don't think I'm going to cover that. I think I've already covered all that before. So we're going to just do the priming pump. And I may have already done that too. It's hard to remember the videos I've posted. I've got about 5 years worth of videos on my 300D posted up. If you haven't watched those, I'll put a link here to the playlist. You can go through those and see all the stuff I've done to that car. So let me get some wrenches. It's going to be hard to get to, especially there's a couple factors here. One, you've got these fuel lines that kind of obstruct. You can't get, you know, a 360 on it. You know, you can't get to it all the way around. And then it's a large diameter, so most of my large diameter wrenches are long, and I can't get them in here. And so I've got a little adjustable wrench. I'm going to try to get that on there. And it's the body, the bottom part of the body of that pump is the fastener, I guess. It's crimped around like a bolt. And so I don't know if you can tell, but it's a hex shape, the bottom of it. So you're going to just put a wrench on the bottom of it. Sorry, once I get it out, I'll tell you the size of it. Let's do that. But I'm going to try, you know, an adjustable wrench and see if I can just unthread it from the lift pump. And that's the lift pump it's attached to. So just unthread the primer pump from the lift pump. Alright, so I took the inlet hose off to give myself a little bit more room. The clamp was kind of in the way, so that gave me some more turning room. And got it off. Yeah, I just used this short adjustable wrench. This is an 8-inch. Like I said, I've checked. The largest wrench I have here at the house is a 19 millimeter. It's larger than that. So, but the replacement, and this is it, of course. So I'm going to check, make sure there's
I can't tell. It doesn't look like there's a sealing washer stuck to there, so there should be a sealing washer on here. Yes, there is. So we got the sealing washer off. Our new one came with a new sealing washer. No, it did not. Did it not come with a new? Maybe it's on here. It did. So we're going to thread this on. This one is a 17 millimeter. So if you've got one of the black ones that you're replacing, then it's probably a 17 millimeter. I'm going to go ahead and replace the sealing washer on the lift pump itself. There's a little recessed area. So we're going to put that in there just to make sure it goes right there, and not like off-centered or something. And then we're just going to thread this new pump in. You don't need any thread sealer or anything like that. That is what the sealing washer is for. So I'm just going to thread it in by hand until it stops. And then I'm going to take my wrench and tighten it down. No need to over torque it, just snug it up. And then I'm going to go through, I'm going to clean out my filter, this filter screen right here. The filter itself looks to be in good shape. There's no reason to, I think we can just spray some stuff through there, some brake clean through it, clean it out, and reuse it. I do have a new one. I might just put the new one in, but the only reason I have a new one is because it came with the car. So normally when I get a car, when I get one of these, I'll replace it, just to replace it. And then from that point in time, you know, the next couple times I do the fuel filter, I'll just clean it out. And just once every couple years, I'll replace that filter. That's kind of the route I go. Just, you know, they get brittle, or they could get brittle. My thought is it could get brittle, so at some point I am going to replace it. But there's no need of replacing it every single time. You can just spray it out. But then again, those filters are only a couple bucks, so. But I spray them out, so that's just me. So what I'll do is I'll undo it from the thing there. I'll spray it out. Unless I see any reason to replace it, then I'll replace it. Alright, new filter on. New O-rings on. Yeah, these are not AC O-rings. They're green, but they were a misleading Amazon purchase. They're just regular old O-rings, just colored green. They're not AC. Well, take that back. You could use them for AC, but you can't use them for 134A. Not that hydrogenated, whatever, the hydrogenated O-rings that you need for 134. So, found two O-rings that matched up. I guess it was a 14 by 2.5. No, I mean, these are estimated sizes. And then I think it was should have been the second box, a 10 by 2. It's probably not the exact sizes, but the thing with O-rings is they'll stretch and get a little bit of a give. See, they're just green O-rings, but they are just get what type they are. I think they're just nitride or nitrile or whatever. I think they're not the H. I think they're they're NBR, I think, and they're AC. You really should have HNBR for 134. Anyway, new O-rings on there, and so these definitely were cooked. I tried to get them off and they just broke. So yeah. New O-rings, new fuel filter, cleaned out the bottom one with just some brake cleaner, put it back. The new one that I had that came with the car is a Fram, and it's not clear. It's not clear like that one. It's like a white plastic, so you can't see inside of it. So I went ahead and just reused that one. I like being able to see inside the filter. Primed it up. Save yourself some priming and pour some diesel in your fuel filter before you put it on. That way you don't have to fill the whole filter up. You can just, with the priming pump, you can just do a little bit and get it done. So I'm going to take some brake clean and just kind of spray this area out where it was leaking diesel. and should be good to go. And crank it up and make sure everything's good. Cranked it up, no leaks. Our little leak I had right there is gone. And like I said, I sprayed some brake cleaner in there because I don't want, you know, brake cleaner will evaporate. Diesel will just stay oily on there. So quick spray with some brake cleaner, and I'll probably get the hose and just kind of rinse it off with some water. No leaks. Checked down the primer pump, and it's good. And the filter housing, of course, is good as well around the filter and the bolt. So my leak is gone there, and my leak is gone at the primer pump. So pretty easy job to do, and definitely something you want to check on your car. Make sure that primer pump works, because if you run it out of fuel or anything like that on the road and your primer pump doesn't work, and you're gonna have a heck of a time trying to get the air out of the system. So it's one of the first things I do on these cars is check that primer pump, because one of the first things I normally do is you know, go through and replace all the filters. And so always check that pump before I do the filters. Now, I don't know if it was leaking before I tried using it, but definitely, you know, using it and realizing it wasn't working kind of brought my attention to it, and then I saw that it was leaking. So I don't know, you know, me disturbing it may have caused it to leak. It's probably so, but it also could have been leaking to begin with. Either way, whether it was leaking or not to begin with, it didn't work. It wouldn't prime, and so it needed to be replaced. So crow's foot wrench would be awesome to do this job. That 17 millimeter, even, you know, it was alternated between my adjustable wrench and the 17 millimeter just because my adjustable wrench was shorter than my 17 millimeter. But if you've got, you know, a set of metric stubby wrenches that goes to larger sizes, I don't know, this may be like a 21 or something. It's fairly large, but you know, that would be helpful. But yeah, to be honest, you might, if you're replacing it anyway, you might just get on it with a pair of pliers up here, you know, where you got a little bit more room. It might come out, I don't know. But this little guy worked well, and like I said, it's just a little bit shorter, and that little bit shorter makes a difference. So, and then the different angle, like it's at a different angle, so you can get one of them on but the other one not, you know, because it's of where it's turned. So if you got like two 17 millimeters, they have a little bit of a different angle on them. That's helpful as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe for more.